They called Bobby Davis the Geelong Flyer over close to 200 games with the Cats in the 40s and 50s. A mercurial half-forward with dazzling speed, Davis was a star in Geelong's back-to-back premiership years of 1951 and 52. After his retirement, he would coach the club to the 1963 premiership. And now, nearly 40 years on, this man who's built a reputation as one of the classiest performers on radio and television remains Geelong's only living premiership coach. At his home in Geelong, Davis gave us a sneak preview of the treasures of a life in football.
Well, of course, most people regard me as Geelong's only living premiership coach, and of course that happened in 1963. But there's another string to my bow. The night premiership started in 1956. Geelong has only ever won one, and here's the ball, and I happen to be the coach. 1961, at that poor old South Melbourne football ground out there that's no more. I think they play soccer there now. I'm not sure what happens. But the lights used to be dark. You could hit anyone up in one corner. But we happened to defeat North Melbourne, and it was a great thing. It was just the start of our great run in the 60s as far as a football club goes. And this genuinely is the ball, and it is a most collectible. I think the football club have been after it for a while, but it was presented to me, and I think I'll hang on for a little bit longer yet. If you want to start with real treasures, this is the one. 1947, Golden Point in Ballarat. I'd left school, gone to play for Golden Point. There were great players in the team. In fact, Jack Cotter, who was the coach, played with Jack Dyer, who, of course, I had great associations with later on. And here I am sitting up in the second row, or standing up in the second row. But it is a real treasure because when you first start football, the journey is going to be very long. You're not sure whether you're going to make the grade down in the VFL. Naturally, I was the number one draft choice in 1948, if they'd had a draft. No, we shouldn't really say that. But quite genuinely, it was a great team and gave me a great start in Ballarat. We're moving on a little bit. Only 4 years. The biggest thrill that you can get, to play for Victoria on the Melbourne Cricket Ground. We hadn't won a premiership by then, but to be selected in this team, and I'll never forget, I got the lovely letter from the VFL. And look at some of the players here, who we've got. Jimmy Clark, Billy Hutchison. I read in the paper the other day, Dick Reynolds said the best player of all time. Charlie Sutton, Mopsy Fraser, Arthur Hodgson, who played 4 times All-Australian, and up in the middle, an Olympian, Peter Bennett, and the paleface from Richmond, Billy Morris. What a gathering. Fred Flanagan, of course, who never missed an interstate team from 1947 until he retired, a record that'll never go on. How lucky I was to come to Geelong in 1948. We hadn't won a game, or we'd won 3 games in 3 years, but inside a couple of years, we got into the 4 in 1950. We won the premiership in 51. And those teams under Reg Hickey, 51, 52, 53, were genuinely regarded as the best football team of all time. Now, this is an ashtray for people that don't know. Nowadays, smoking's right out. It's not politically correct to smoke, of course. But this is where you used to put your cigarette. And I don't even smoke. But it was given to us. We were held in very high esteem. This is for winning 23 consecutive games. It's never been done since, and it's very unlikely that it'll ever be done. In actual fact, we won 23, tied a game, and then won another 2. So we weren't beaten in 26 games. And who had to beat us at the finish? Lewis Thomas Charles Richards was captain of the Collingwood team in 1953, and they beat us down here at Cardinia Park. Actually, I think it was a bit of a relief. Right, now this is genuine memento. There's no 2 ways about it. After 12 or 13 years with the football club as a player and then becoming coach, I was fortunate enough to be selected last June in the team of the century. Anyone that had played for Geelong was eligible. And for me to get in the team of the century was just fantastic, and especially because I was alongside my great friend and captain of the club, Fred Flanagan, who was also played there, and on the other side, probably Geelong's best ever player, Gary Ablett. what a half-forward line. I don't know if I'd ever got a kick, but look at it there. And on the evening, that was presented to me, and then they had another one that I had personally autographed, and it was up for sale. And for all you collectible people out there, 11,500 it went for. So it wasn't a bad evening for the Geelong Football Club. In fact, they raised $450,000 on the evening. This is a WEG cartoon signed by all the living members of the 52 team, and of course in 1952 we came to win the premiership after winning it in 51. And that's a pretty hard trick, winning them back to back. However, we did it, and of course on that particular day, why I'm probably featured on that is that I had a pretty good day, and whether the Norm Smith medal would have gone to me way back then, I'm not too sure. But it's very nice, and it is a genuine memento of the time when we played and the feeling that each one of the team had for one another. After all, we still have lunches or dinners almost every year, and in fact we have one every 6 or 7 weeks, and there are 8 or 10 of that team come all the time. Every day when I come into this room, I almost genuflect at this photo up here, because 2 of them are, well, the genuine limelight figures. Reg Hickey, of course, was captain and coach of the Geelong team of the century, as well as being a Victorian representative. He is the biggest name that the Geelong Football Club's ever had. Bernie Smith, a back pocket player in the team of the century, a Brownlow medalist, a great mate of mine, unfortunately passed on now, he and Reg. But the other 2, well, Russell Renfrey, 26 games, the only fellow ever to do it in a row, and of course there I am stuck with them. So it really is a marvellous photo and memorabilia. Look, it's priceless to me to have them there. A football career takes you a lot of places, and you meet great many people. However, in 1958, I was lucky enough to be captain of Victoria, and before the first game, who comes out and shakes my hand but Sir Robert Menzies, and I was a true Liberal man as well. So there we were, and I went on to play a marvellous game because of his shaking of my hand before the match. After football, guess what came along? The television. And who came along with it but these 2 galoots that I'm sitting in between? Lewis Thomas Charles Richards and Jack Captain Blood Dyer. The biggest names in the football world. I don't care about Eddie or Sam or Corder, anyone that's there now. These 2 did more for football than anybody else. Here's a very unusual piece of memorabilia. This is a wallet that the Victorian, or the VFL, gave us when we went to Brisbane in 1950. There it is there. And of course, I don't think they put any money in it. There's a photo. Oh, my dog, a little foxy called Joe. So that's it. Marvellous thing, isn't it? No money, but a very nice memento all the same from the Victorian Football League. Before the days of a little portable computer, you had to write if you wanted to tell someone anything at all. And the VFL, in their wisdom, in 1950, gave me this marvellous writing tablet with my initials on it, but wait till we open it up. Even better. Look. The Australian National Football Council, I think it says, and the emblem, we had to write home. It was almost mandatory. They wanted you to tell the people back in Victoria you were still alive up there in Brisbane. Well, I've managed to save all the Blazers and their great memorabilia and great mementos. This one, 1949, Captain Blood, Jack Dyer, was the Victorian captain and coach. Could you believe that? But of course, you know what happens. Dry cleaners, what do they do to you? Look at this one here. 1950, the Carnival up in Brisbane. Now it won't fit me. They've shrunk it to Smith. Oh, it's terrible. But still, there it was, and we had a marvellous time, a 1950 Blazer. Well, in 1958, it was my last year, but what a year. Captain of Victoria. We won the Carnival. The Carnival of 100 years of Australian rules football. And guess what happened at the end of it? Look at this one. This green monster that I've got on there still fits me beautifully. I was made captain of the All-Australian team. They're going to give one of these out every 100 years. How is that? This is a real piece of memorabilia. Well, of all the mementos that I've got, this is one I've tried to lose. Have a look at it on the coach, 1963. Another thing that no one's ever done. The first coach of the Victorian team ever to get defeated by South Australia on the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Why am I saving it? But still, I suppose it's another step in a great career. Thanks very much.